Hello. First, I'd like to welcome you to ISE 2014 Engineering Economy and to what may be a new experience for you, and that is a winter term class. If you haven't taken one before, it's a lot of information in a very short amount of time. And I hope that you'll find that the time is well spent. It's a good time to get a class out of the way. And since this is a 2-hour class, the contact hours aren't really too bad. So this is a blended class. So we'll have some online assignments to begin. This introductory video, we're just going to talk about what those assignments look like. We'll talk about the structure of the class a little bit. After we have some online classes for a while, then we'll do some face-to-face. One thing I want to let you know is that since this is it's one half online, one half face-to-face. So what that means is we will begin our face-to-face sessions on Wednesday, January the 6th, not January the 4th, as is indicated in the timetable. So you can have a little extra long weekend there, and then report to class. We'll meet from 10 to noon each day, starting the 6th, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then the following week, we'll go all week, Monday through Friday. And the Friday of the final week then will be our last quiz, which turns out to be our last exam in this class. We meet in Durham 261, which is really not a bad classroom for this particular class. Here's a textbook right here, Engineering Economy, cleverly named. This is the 16th edition. The accompanying website at Pearson for My Engineering Lab is what we will use for homework. So yes, it does cost you a little bit of money. Yes, it will present some interesting issues we'll talk about a little bit later, but it is required for the class that you register for that. So more on that coming. The homework that we use on My Engineering Lab follows this textbook. It does not follow previous editions of this textbook. So I cannot vouch for any connection between the homework on My Engineering Lab that we'll be assigning and older editions of the book. I do think in general you can get by with an older edition of this textbook. A 15th edition would probably be okay. 14th, less so, really. I also cannot vouch for any international editions of the book. So if you if that's a lot cheaper, I know that's a tempting alternative, and I wish I could make the book cheaper for you. I can't do that. But the problems in those books, and even some of the content in those books, I can't vouch for right now. What else do I need to tell you? Let me talk for just a little bit about communication. I began by contacting you through Scholar, so you'll know a little bit about Scholar. We really don't use Scholar in this class. I know the class also probably has a Canvas site. We don't do the Canvas site either. We're going to use Google Classroom as our primary communication vehicle. You'll notice in the syllabus, which is posted on Scholar, so you should already be able to get to that. And it's also posted on Google Classroom, but the syllabus has the code that you should put in to register yourself for Google Classroom, no charge. But I'll be posting these videos at the classroom. We'll be interacting quite a bit on the classroom. I'm trying to establish a way that we can do scores and share grades on the classroom without violating the privacy arrangements. So we'll do that. We'll use Classroom as our primary communication vehicle. Like I said, another web page you'll need to access is My Engineering Lab. The instructions for how to access, if you haven't been on My Engineering Lab, or there's a sister site, Mastering Physics, or some of that. If you haven't done that before, you may need some instruction, and the instructions for how to do that are posted. Again, they will be on Scholar. They'll also be posted on Classroom. I'll stop posting things on Scholar after a while. If you follow those instructions, you'll be in good shape. You can also, by the way, use the My Engineering Lab access to, instead of a hard copy, if you'd like to purchase the e-text, you're absolutely welcome to purchase the e-text, and then you don't have to worry about the textbook. Everything's right there on the My Engineering Lab website, which is kind of helpful, I think. If you can read e-text and you're an electronic kind of person. There's other material available at that website that will be helpful to you. There's practice quizzes, there's study plans, there's all sorts of things, not all of which I use in the class, but things that you should avail yourself of. Let me talk, let's talk a little bit about the class itself very briefly. I got an email from a student. This is not this past year, but it could apply, from a rather beleaguered student, and who referred to the class as his term a fail out class. I don't know where you could possibly get that idea, really. But it is interesting to note that we do have quite a few students who drop the class. We have fewer who fail the class. I know that there's an increasing trend for students who aren't getting the grade they'd like to get to drop a class. That affects things considerably. This class, it's a 2-hour class. I tell you, I just can't imagine that the majority of students find the content challenging. It's certainly not mathematically challenging. We add, we subtract, we multiply, on occasion we divide. I guess we do take something to an exponent. It's very straightforward mathematically. The concepts sometimes students can trip over because it's not a typical engineering class. It's a class where you learn something about how the rest of the world works. We talk about business, we talk about money, we talk about financing, we talk about interest and return on investment, things like that. So to the extent that that's new to you, there'll be some new things to learn, no doubt. But they're not hard things. And if I know from experience, a lot of experience, that if you read the textbook and you do the homework and you listen in class, that's all you need to do to get quite a good grade. You should be able to pick things up. And the good news is that as I record this, we have 22 students registered. So with that many students, and or even a few more, and me and a graduate teaching assistant, there'll be a lot of opportunity for one-on-one interaction, and we can help you over those difficult humps. As I taught it last winter, we didn't have any problem. I think most students did quite well the last time we taught this class in the winter semester. So this may be the first time, if it is the first time you've taken some things, class online. It is a different sort of experience. You have to be diligent. You need to be disciplined. Don't get behind, especially during this critical online first half of the class. Don't get behind. Stick with it. Start early. One of the reasons I'm posting this video early and I'm putting material up there early and I'm starting the Pearson My Engineering Lab website, cranking that up early, is so that you can get started early before the holidays. And so I know that coming off the fall semester, you really would like to take a break, and that's great. I can't blame you. I'd like to take a break as well. And you might want to take a few days off. Do that, but if you can get started early, I believe you'll reap the benefits of that. If you wait till the last minute and try to cram it all in, you're not going to learn nearly as well. Some of this material needs a little bit of dwell time. It's unfortunate really that we can't do the first half face-to-face and the last half online, because I believe that would be a more effective way to teach this material. But we work with what we have. So your achievement is going to be up to you in this class, even more so than a regular class, because of the online nature of the first half of the class. And the first half of the class is where the foundation is laid. This is where you need to really make sure you dig in and learn the material. There will be, I believe, 4 homework assignments that will be due before we start the face-to-face portion of the class. And those will be on the My Engineering Lab website. You'll have to do assignment 1 before you do assignment 2, before you do assignment 3. There'll be the due dates for these will be off into the future, so it's not to press you to get them done, but I'd like for you to press yourself to get those done. And those will all be due before we start the online on January 6th. And what I hope is good news is that the GTA, who has not yet been assigned, and myself will be available by email. So we'll be able to help. And I will also be posting several videos. I'll try to make those short videos. You have to sit through a 50-minute lecture, but maybe a 15-minute video on a particular topic module. So you'll be able to chunk it up and take it a chunk at a time. That should be helpful for you. Also on the Pearson website, My Engineering Lab, there will be some videos that you can look at to help in case you struggle with some questions. There are videos where problems that are very similar to homework and similar to examples in the text are found. So I would encourage you to take advantage of those videos as well. If you have questions as you're going through, you'll notice on the My Engineering Lab website that as you work on particular problems, there will be a screen in front of you. And if you have a question about a problem, the best way to communicate is that you use the Ask My Instructor tab. I think it's the second tab from the bottom on the left. So you'll be looking at a screen, and down here on the side, there'll be some tabs. I think it's the second one from the bottom that's Ask My Instructor. And if you click that, you're able to type up a question, and it will send a lot of information to me. So use that method. And if you're working on the problem, and we'll be working with spreadsheets more in just a minute on that. If you could attach or share your spreadsheet with me, that would help me tremendously. You know, it's hard to go back and forth by email with questions and answers, but please take advantage of that. If you can, take advantage of that process. Now, I know with web applications, working on through a web browser, there can be special issues. And some people are very particular about their computer and the way they use it. Other people just get a computer and use it. I'm particular about my computers. I'm particular about what operating system I might want to use at a particular time. Some of you may be that way too. For for my engineering lab, that can cause some difficulties. So let me just make a few comments about solving the homework problems in my engineering lab. First of all, Linux users. If you are a Linux user, and that's fine, I have no objection to that. But you're going to be more prone to some issues than the typical Windows or Mac user. As you're working these problems, my advice to really everyone is to complete a question before you leave your web browser. Don't leave it in the middle of a question. Make sure you have enough time, sufficient time, to get through a complete question before you take a break from the web browser. If you need to leave your computer, make sure you log out of My Engineering Lab and don't just let it log you out automatically. Make sure you formally log out. And Pearson informs me that that the Google Chrome browser is the browser of choice, and some of you may not like that. I'm not saying you have to use Chrome, but Pearson reports that they have the fewest issues if Chrome is used. So there you go. Another thing, and I'm going to read this quote to you from Pearson that they've informed me. One suggestion is to ensure that students have a sound connection when working on assignments, and in addition, make sure to accept first or third-party cookies and ensure that any pop-up blocker, including third-party blockers like add-ons, are disabled. Now, into that quote, I don't really like those. I mean, I don't particularly like them. I like to block pop-ups. I want to be real careful about cookies and stuff like that. That's Pearson's suggestion. So especially the pop-up blockers, they do some pop-ups. So just be ready for that when you're using the website. As I will discuss more in the next video, which is the first content-related video coming up, we will use spreadsheets almost exclusively in this class. I will be using Google Sheets for a whole lot of reasons. Google Sheets, Excel, if you're a Open Office, if you're a open source kind of person, you may be using that, or LibreOffice, all these other spreadsheet applications. They all have the same functionality, and so switching from one to the other is no big deal. But I will be using Google Sheets. We'll be taking our quizzes by Google Sheets. So Google Sheets is something you should learn. You should learn spreadsheets. If you learn in Excel, you're fine for Google Sheets. I would encourage you, if you're not comfortable with spreadsheets and the way they work, to very, very quickly today start to come up to speed on using spreadsheets. There are some fine tutorials on lynda.com. You know, as a Virginia Tech student, you get lynda.com access for free. So just go to lynda.com, go to the tech website, search for lynda.com. It'll take you where you need to go. You'll be able to log in. You'll be fine. Start learning how to use spreadsheet applications. The main things you need to be aware of are how to copy cells, copy formulas. You need to know the difference between an absolute address and a relative address. The financial functions we'll discuss in class for a little bit, and then you'll be on your own on those. We don't use a whole lot of financial functions, but what we do use is available on all spreadsheets. So come up to speed on those when you can. Look at the syllabus. It's posted there on Scholar, so read through that. Make sure you get registered with my engineering lab, make sure you get registered on the Google Classroom site, and I'll be checking that regularly to see who's there. So don't delay. I will be back in touch again around the official class start time or before. I'll be posting up another video that is a content related video. Get a head start if you have time. It'll slip away very, very quickly. You'll wonder where in the heck the time went. So again, welcome. I'm very glad that you've joined the class. I hope you'll stick with us. I think you'll find it not only rewarding from a getting through your curriculum standpoint, but personally, because we'll talk a lot about personal finance. We'll talk about investments and how to, we'll have some questions about how to retire a millionaire or a 5 millionaire or a billionaire. And we'll learn about how money drives decisions in corporations and how you can maximize your own personal investments. So if you celebrate Christmas like I do, I hope you have a joyous Christmas season. If you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, I wish you the very best with your celebrations. If you don't celebrate anything at all, I hope that you enjoy your break. I'm sure it's well earned and you get some free time, but I also hope that you'll work reasonably hard in this class so that when we get to see you face to face, you're already rolling and knowledgeable about engineering economy. So I will sign off now, and I will post another video when I get it prepared, and I will send out an email to let everyone know that another video has been posted. The next posted video will likely be exclusively on the Google Classroom site. So I wish you the best. If you've got finals left to go when you look at this, I wish you the best on those. And I'll be back on TV before you know it.